All right, welcome to the Minnesota City Participation Program webinar for 2017. My name is Nicola Viena, and I thank you for your participation today. Here is our agenda for today. So we are going to be covering the program, the Minnesota City Participation Program. We will talk about benefits of participating in this program. And I'm also going to give you an overview of our home mortgage program, just to give you context for this program. We'll talk about the application process. It's a pretty streamlined, simple process that takes place in January, and what to expect in 2017. And I've got some program tips. I'll also go over our website. I'll give you a little website tour to show you where some things are. I always like to start our webinars by sharing our mission. Housing is the foundation for success, so we collaborate with individuals, communities, and partners to create, preserve, and finance affordable housing. So you as a city, county, or multi-county representative are also a valued partner to us, and as we work to address many housing issues, specifically today, first-time home ownership. With this particular program, we are trying to help first-time home owners be successful in obtaining an affordable fixed-rate mortgage. And they have access through our programs to down payment and closing cost loans. And we also have conventional products exclusive to housing finance agencies. So we thank you for partnering with us so that we can help Minnesota families access affordable and decent housing. So a little bit about the program. Our program, the Minnesota City Participation Program, started in 1990, and it's a way to help you provide first-time homebuyer loans in your community. It's laid out in state statute, so there are some unique parameters around the program. We had 41 participants last year, and you can apply as a city, county, or multi-county agency. So there are some benefits to applying as a county or multi-county. If you are a smaller city, it creates a little bit more flexibility because all the cities and the counties in the area are covered under one application. So it's less administrative work, and there's no limit to the amount of resources you can use because there's more agency funds that can be used if you reach your limit. There is a minimum usage requirement, though, that I'll be speaking about a little bit later. So you wouldn't be as worried about that usage if you're applying as a county or multi-county because you've got a little bit more flexibility to meet that usage. So if you do want to apply as a county or multi-county, be sure to check to see if you need to get board approval. And also something new this year is that we will ask for supporting documentation that you have the authority to apply as a joint local government group. So we need to see evidence of your agreement. And if you have questions about that, you can contact me. I'll show you in the application where that is. All right, so transitioning a little bit here, I'd like to show you our family of home mortgage loans here at Minnesota Housing. You can see they are separated by first-time home buyer loans on the left and repeat buyers and current homeowners on the right. And today we're going to focus on our program startup, as you see here. So MCPP, I'm going to go by the acronym here, helps fund startups. So think of this program, MCPP, as a dedicated funding source for your community as opposed to a program. There's various sources of funding that we use to fund our startup program, and through MCPP, Minnesota Housing can access tax-exempt bonding authority for startup. So Minnesota Housing applies to Minnesota Management and Budget for these funds on your behalf. And it's tax-exempt bonding authority that has become quite competitive. So there are other entities that can access these funds, student loan company or student loans and multifamily housing. So we compete for these funds and we apply on your behalf to access these funds. So there is a benefit of running a bond program without the administrative burden of running your own program. That's just one of the benefits, but there's lots of benefits to participating in this program. That's a way to promote first-time homeownership in your community. By participating in this program, it sends your leadership and residents the message that you support first-time homeownership in your city or county. There is minimal administrative burden. You are allowed to run a bond program with limited resources. It's pretty much just completing an application and an agreement and sending it in January. This is a dedicated funding source for your community. It's allocated for your city or county. And we provide you with marketing and outreach support if you would like. It's up to you on how much marketing you want to do around the program, but we do provide tailored information. We provide brochures at no cost. We provide templates for news releases and newsletters, website information, social media, just different things to help you be successful. And there is no deposit or fee in 2017. If you've been a part of this program for a long time, you may recall that there used to be a deposit, and we are allowed to charge a $20 fee for every $100,000 of allocation. Well, we're taking care of the deposit as a courtesy and just to keep the administrative work easier, and we're not charging the fee this year. Both of these things, though, are subject to change, and we will inform you if there are any changes in future program years. And lastly, you will be provided information on loan activity in your area, not just on MCPP, but also all startup loans, as well as our other first-time homebuyer loan and our step-up program as well for repeat buyers, just to let you know what the activity is in your community. So this program is really important because it allows Minnesota Housing to access additional tax-exempt bonding to expand the reach of our startup program to Minnesota communities, and it provides additional resources that otherwise we couldn't use if we didn't administrate this program. So thank you for making that possible. So now I would like to transition and tell you how the process works when a borrower gets a Minnesota Housing loan. I just want to provide you with a little bit of background so you understand our process. So first of all, borrowers in your community apply for a loan with a Minnesota Housing approved lender. We have over 100 lenders statewide that provide our program. The lender originates, underwrites, closes, and funds the loan, and they sell the loan to U.S. Bank, who is our master servicer. So the loan is placed in a mortgage-backed security, and Minnesota Housing owns that mortgage-backed security, and U.S. Bank services the loan. U.S. Bank is the owner of the loan and services the loan, but Minnesota Housing owns the mortgage-backed security. So it is quite a cumbersome process, but this is our business model, and it's worked very well for us the last 4 years. And so when borrowers are looking for a loan, then you would refer them to a participating lender, which I'll show you how to do in just a little bit. So then the next thing I want to show you is just how the lenders layer our program with an industry standard underlying mortgage product. So borrowers that access our loan will have an underlying mortgage product. They can choose a government loan, FHA, RD, VA, or they can choose a conventional loan. And as I mentioned, we have exclusive programs with Fannie and Freddie where they only need to put 3% down. So that the lender is always looking to see that they qualify for a mortgage first. And then the lender selects the Minnesota Housing first mortgage that best suits the borrower's needs. So in this case, it's going to be startup, because that's our first-time homebuyer mortgage revenue bond program. And thirdly, if the borrower needs help with their down payment and closing costs, they select the Minnesota Housing second mortgage that best meets their borrower's needs. So the lender is doing all the qualifying to make sure that the borrower meets every layer of eligibility. So as I mentioned, buyers access our program through a lender that has chosen to participate in our program. In order to participate in our program, lenders need to complete an application with U.S. Bank as they are a master servicer. So later on our website tour, I'm going to show you where to find this, but buyers would go to our website, mnhousing.gov, and search under Find a Lender. And they can put in their zip code and select the mile radius in which they want to search. And they can put Buy My First Home and click Search. And then a list of 10 lenders in random order will appear. But we always list our top producers first. So we have a program for lenders called the Top Producing Loan Officer program, where it's for lenders that do a lot of Minnesota housing loans. And so we list them first on our website because they are very familiar with the programs. If a buyer calls and says, I'm interested in Minnesota housing, they're going to know exactly what to do. Other lenders will too, but these are just loan officers that do a lot of loans with us and pretty knowledgeable about the program. So the way that you can use this is you can search the zip codes in your area so that you know the lenders in your community that are offering the program. You can refer consumers to this website, or you can look for them, and you can call the lenders and talk about how you might be able to partner. They won't know this program as MCPP. They will know it as startup. So we are planning on reaching out to the lenders in your community later in January or February, once the program is started, once we know who's all participating, to let them know this program exists and just let them know that we have a partnership with cities and counties, and it will allow a little bit better mode of communication for you and for them to partner. If you don't see any lenders in your area, then you can contact me and I will connect you with our business development team. Our business development team are in charge of recruiting new lenders, onboarding them, helping them through the process with U.S. Bank. Now, keep in mind, not all banks may not be a good fit for our program because of our business model and their business model. So we'll talk about that with you and see. Basically, if you have lenders in your area that offer our program, then this would be a good program fit for you. If you don't, then we should talk a little bit about how we can get there. So a little bit more about startup eligibility in general, just so that you have vision to how this program works. There is certain eligibility requirements that Minnesota Housing sets because our startup program is a mortgage revenue bond program. So there's some unique requirements around income limits, which are on our website. I actually will show them to you on the next slide. We've got purchase price limits listed there by geographic location, and there's also credit and policy requirements. So there is a minimum credit score of at least 640. Some products require a higher score, but the minimum is 640. There are some debt to income ratios that the lenders need to abide by, and also the down payment and closing cost loans has some eligibility requirements. For example, if a borrower is receiving a down payment and closing cost loan, they are required to get homebuyer education, which some of you offer through your agency. So thank you for the work you do in that area as well. Here are the income limits. You can see they are broken out by household size and location. Now, something that is unique to MCPP is that by state statute, we're only allowed to fund loans that for borrowers that are at 80% of the area median income. So it may be that they'll be lower. Now, I can't list the 80% area median income for each one of your cities and counties right now, but we take care of this for you in our reporting. So these are the limits here. And then for MCPP eligibility, you can see here state statute sets that we have 80% area median income. But just for example, most of our borrowers are under those limits. Last year, in 2015, the median annual household income for our borrowers was $51,000. 5151. And for those getting our program, the deferred payment loan, that's one of our down payment loan programs, that income, that median income was $44,000. So we're actually reaching borrowers that are lower income for that program. For MCPP, also specifically in state statutes, it states that in order for cities and counties to participate, they need to report that this program helps the community meet an identified housing need and is economically viable. So in our application, you must check a box that states that the program meets the need. So it's just clicking the box to confirm that eligibility requirement. So again, just to clarify, when you're receiving reports from us on a monthly basis, these are the loans that are eligible for MCPP funding. It needs to be a startup program loan. The property needs to be located in your jurisdiction, whatever you mentioned on your application. If it's a city, county, or multi-county, and the borrower's income is at 80% of the area median income. All right, so a little bit about the application process. How do you apply? For those of you that have been with us for a while, you know that we cannot accept applications before January 2nd. So this is due to state statute. It says that we collect applications between January 2nd and January 15th. Well, the 15th falls on a Sunday this year, so we are asking that you provide the application by Friday the 13th. So please be cognizant of that time frame, and we do require signature, and you get to email that to Tim Eisworth, who is stepping in as Sandy Ajasa, who used to be our program support for this program. She has taken another position. So my colleague, Tim Eisworth, will be receiving these applications and agreements. So you can send them to Tim. Some of our communication so far has said to me too. That's fine too. You can send them to me or Tim, but Tim is going to be organizing them and collecting them on my behalf. So I will be sending you the application and the agreement probably today, as well as in December, so that you have it a couple of times. I want to send it to you soon, because then if you do need board approval, then you can get that approval in November or December and have the materials that you need. And then I'll send it again in December, so that you've got it ready to go. I'll also provide you a board summary template that you can use to share with your board. You can change it a little bit if you want to. It's just information explaining the program, and you can use it as you see fit. So again, between January 2nd and January 13th. All right, now I'm going to just pull up the application for you. It looks very similar to last year. And just bear with me here as I pull it up. Just want to point out a couple of things. All right, so here's the application. It's one page. Isn't that great? So again, you'll fill out your information here, agency contact information. So you, the agency, whoever is completing this application, will fill in this information. And I would like your mailing address and your physical address, just so that we have them both on record. So that's something new for this year. And I'd like your website, because we do tend to use your website just to check you out, just to make sure that we have the information that we need. And also, if there's other people in your agency that would like to receive my monthly reports and updates, add their email here so I can send those to them. And then I've changed this a little bit as well under your agency type. So I've tried to make it a little bit more streamlined. If you're a city, or you can just put a city, HRA, CDA, or EDA, a county. Oops, I even see I have a little typo here. I meant to put HRA, so I'll make sure to add that here. It should be county, HRA, CDA, or EDA. And then we've got a multi-county HRA, receiving a single allocation for the whole area. And then this is a little different because this is for state statute reasons. We've got a consortium of local government units applying jointly by agreement. So we've got a couple of entities that are not a government agency, but they have the governor's permission to act in the authority of the county. So we do need to see some evidence of that agreement with this application. So you simply just send that along as an attachment in the email so that we've got proof of your agreement. And then you can list the legal names of all the cities and counties. If you're doing a multi-county application, just put in the counties. And for those of you that have some cities that you're excluding for one reason or another, like maybe they're applying on their own, you can put that here that you're excluding one particular city. Here's the checkbox for where you check to make sure that MCPP helps the community meet an identified housing need. And we also put in here to let us know if you have down payment programs or assistance that you offer. This doesn't affect your application. It just helps us know what other resources are out there so that when we get calls about your area, we can make sure to make the appropriate referral. And then again, you will need a real signature here. So you'll want to print this out, sign it, and then scan it and send it to Tim. So if there are any questions about this application, you can type them in now. Otherwise, I will keep going. It's a pretty straightforward application. So feel free to type in your questions. I'm going to keep going here. I'll go back to my PowerPoint here. Actually, I'm going to go to our agreement next. So here is the agreement. It looks very similar to last year, but we just did a little bit of cleanup work. You're going to see that this agreement is going to refer to you, the participating agency, as the city, and that's just because that's how it's outlined in state statutes. But we did add this year that the city is applying to participate as a Minnesota city, county, or city or county housing and redevelopment authority, economic development authority, or port authority, or a consortium of local governments. So we added that language just to clarify that you can participate on the level that you choose. And we also took out the allocation amount. So if you remember, I'm going to make you a little dizzy and go to all the way to the bottom of this document here. So you'll have to sign this agreement. And last year we had an allocation amount listed here with how much you were allocated for the program. Now, because we're streamlining the application process and asking for the application and agreement at the same time in January, we are not going to have your specific allocation amount at that time because the Minnesota Management and Budget does not announce the total amount until later in January, and then Minnesota Housing allocates the amount based on population, and we'll announce that in February. So we'll ask that you sign this, and then in February, once we have the allocation, then we'll provide that to you. So let me know if that's going to be a problem for any of you. It's probably going to be very similar to what you've received in the past. So that's just a little bit about that contract. We have cleaned it up a little bit so that it works a little bit better for our current business model. All right, so I'm going to take you back to our PowerPoint here. Okay, so as I just mentioned, the Minnesota Management and Budget sets aside a certain amount of bonding authority in the housing pool. Last year, it was just over $56 million. MMB announces this amount sometime in January, and again, we compete for these funds and have to apply to use them on your behalf. And we allocate these funds to each participating community based on population. So once we have that allocation amount determined, we will send out documentation to you. You are allowed to go over your allocation because we use other agency resources to fund the loans. So that is not a problem. However, there is a minimum allocation, or excuse me, a minimum usage requirement. So the participants need to use at least 50% of the allocation that you've been allocated. So we have changed the dates a little bit. So in prior years, the program started April 1st and it ran through November 30th. We are going to start it as of January 16th, so that allows you more time to use your allocated amount. We're allowed in state statute to set that amount. Keep in mind that even though this program funding is available January 16th through November 30th, borrowers or buyers in your community can access our program all year round. It just means that we're using MCPP funding during that particular time, but our program is available all year round. So in order to be eligible to apply for next year, you do need to use this minimum amount, and I'm going to give some examples to you. So for example, if you're a participant that's received $500,000 in allocation, but you only use $200,000, that is less than the 50%. So next year you will only be allowed to receive the amount that you've received this year, which is $200,000. So you still get to participate, it's just you only get the amount that you used this past year. And for those of you that receive the $100,000 amount, this is the minimum amount that is allocated. If you use $40,000, then you would not be allocated any money next year. So there is a waiting period. You cannot apply for 1 year. After that 1 year, you can reapply again. And if you receive $100,000, but it's at $60,000, you would receive the $100,000 next year because that's the minimum amount. So if you find yourself worried about the usage, you might want to consider changing your participation level. We have some small cities. You might want to consider contacting your county administrator and participating on a county level, or you could do a multi-county level application for some more flexibility. I just recommend that you go to our Find a Lender search, type in your zip code and look to see if there are lenders in your community, because it doesn't really make sense for you to participate if you don't have lenders in your community that offer the loans. But if you're interested and you'd like there to be, contact us because we can see if there's any lenders that are interested. We've done that in the past and we're happy to do that again. All right, so to help you reach your allocation amount, we provide you with outreach support. We'll provide you this board summary, which will go out with the application and agreement. We provide you with brochures that you can place in your lobbies and provide to consumers that call. We provide a press release and newsletter templates that you can use. All you need to do is plug in your city and your allocation amount and you're good to go. And we provide social media templates. If you've got a Facebook page, you can always like us on Facebook and share information we provide, or we've got some little templates that you can use if you need some content. We also have website language, so I encourage you all to look at your websites to see how you are marketing this program. And I've got some language that you can use that you can literally just copy and paste into your page and use that. That's something that our staff will be helping me look at. If you need some information, you might hear from one of our staff that they've got some information that can provide for you. So lastly, that leads into a visit or a call yearly from our staff. So we've got program managers and our business development reps that help me in contacting all of you each year. We normally do it at this time. It's usually in the fall before the next program year. And we contact you as a way to check in, hear how things are going. You can share trends that you're seeing in your community, and they can provide program information or lender information. It's really just a time to share information, and we get a lot of great feedback from those visits and phone calls. So you will be hearing from one of our staff in the coming weeks, and feel free to contact them or me if you have any questions. We will be sending you out usage reports monthly to let you know the activity in your community. So I've broken down the report in 4 areas just so that you have vision to all the programs that your community is using. So you'll see in your report, there's going to be information on the loans that qualify for MCPP funding. So that's where we've divided out the borrowers that have the 80% AMI. Most of them do fit in. You'll see another column for non-MCPP loans. These are just startup loans that are above 80% AMI. And then you'll see information on our mortgage credit certificate. This is our other first-time homebuyer program where borrowers are able to pair the loan with a tax credit. And then our Step Up program, which is for repeat homeowners and buyers that are buying another house or refinancing. So you'll get to see all the activity in your community. Okay, so we've got just a couple more slides here. I'd like to give you some program tips. So start by identifying lenders that offer your program. So you can go to Find a Lender on our website. I'll show you that very soon. You can refer callers to these lenders. You can place our brochures in your lobby. I'm going to show you on our website where you can go to order these. And use our marketing toolkits. So in probably January or February, I'm going to send you a marketing toolkit. It's probably going to be whenever I send you out your allocation amount because you'll need that in order to market. So once I get that information, I'll send you the marketing toolkit email with these different templates that you can use. And we also recommend that you partner with homeownership advisors to spread the word about this program. So some of you offer these programs in your city or county. Thank you. For those of you that don't, you can go to the Homeownership Center's website. I just realized I didn't put that website in, so I'll put it in the chat bar. So I'll just put, it's hocmn.org if you want to find a homeownership advising agency in your area. And these are great message carriers that counsel and educate first-time home buyers. They're going to tell them about programs in their community, and they provide the education as well for the program. So they're going to be a great partner in this too. So next, I am going to give you a website tour just of a couple things that I want you to see. Our website can be a little tricky to navigate, so I just want to make sure you know where to find information. So our website is mnhousing.gov. And this is our homepage. So over here on the left is probably where you're going to find most of your information. This is for home buyers and homeowners specifically, but this is where you'll see the Find a Lender. You also see just overview of the programs, how to improve your home with a fix-up loan, our interest rates, but here's our Find a Lender. And here's where you can type in the zip code. You can see there's names that already randomly populate. If you don't put in a zip code, these are some of the top producing lenders here. It will say it if they are. If they're not, it won't have that information, but they're still listed. All right, so that's where you find a lender. And I'm going to go back to home. I'm just going to click the logo here. And if you are interested in seeing our interest rates, you can click here or here. I'll just go here and you can see for startup, here are the interest rates for today. Now, this is something new that we did launch this last year where the borrower can choose whether or not they want to pay the origination fee up front or if they want to finance it. So you will see there are 2 different rates depending on how they decide to handle that origination fee. This is something that we started because lenders were giving us feedback that this was needed for borrowers in some cases where they did not have enough down payment and closing costs resources available, and our down payment loan wasn't covering all the need just because home prices are increasing. And they've also told us that this is happening in the marketplace now. So buyers are having the choice of paying the origination fee or financing it. So you can see there is a rate difference here. So if they are financing that, they'll pay a slightly higher rate, but it might be the difference in getting them into the house if they've got one less percent that they have to pay up front. So it breaks down the barriers a little bit for getting in the house, especially as rents are really high and people have a hard time saving. So there's a little bit about that. So I'm going to take you back to the logo and homepage, and I want to show you where you can go to access our marketing materials. So that would be under lenders and homeownership partners. We tell homeownership advisors to go here. Real estate agents can go to this part. It's more the biggest audience is our lenders, so some of the information will be very specific to the loan officers. But you'll see here there's information about each of the programs. If you want to know a little bit more, it's there for you to read. But under this right here, marketing is where you go to order materials. So you can go here and say order pre-printed materials, and you'll fill out a little survey and we'll get information mailed out to you. You can also see here what the materials are. There's a little picture of them, and we'll send whatever you ask for here. So there's even some information in Spanish. I know that our brochure is in Spanish and English, so I encourage you to use those for your community. And also we've got our e-news. So if you'd like to stay up on the information that lenders are receiving, you can sign up for our e-news. It's at the bottom right of every page. And if you partner with us in other areas too, you can sign up for any of these other interests. But if you're specifically curious about startup, you would click the homeownership lender partners here, and we send updates to our lenders as needed. It ends up being once or twice a month. It's usually when there's a change in program details. This is where we announce changes in income limits, purchase price limits, down payment loan amounts. So you are going to find some information that's interesting to you, but just keep in mind that the main audience is lenders. So some of it you may not need, but maybe just pick one person in your agency that will receive these, and so that you can stay up on information. Also in my monthly emails, I'll alert you to anything of real importance. All right, so that concludes our website tour, and we are almost done here. I'm just going to show you my contact information. Hopefully you all have this, but again, my name is Nicola Viana. I'm the program manager for this program. I'm going to be your main contact if you have any specific questions. There's our website, and I will be sending out the slides from today. I will also send you the application and the agreement and the board summary template, because we do encourage you to get this on your board agenda for November or December so that you're ready to go January 2nd. So thank you so much for participating and listening, and we are excited about this program because it's a great way to share our program with you and to help you fund programs in your community and just to work together to better Minnesota. So thank you again, and you have a good rest of your day.